Hello, my fine young artist friends, and welcome back to Studio 37. I hope you were able to stay warm through the Arctic blast. As we wrap up with our last week in art for this quarter, we are going to continue to examine contemporary narrative artists. This week, we're going to look at an artist that is contemporary. He's an Illinois artist, and he's actually a personal friend of mine. We're going to talk about the art of Jay Ryan. Jay Ryan is actually world famous for his posters depicting woodland characters like bears and rabbits and squirrels, as well as his gig posters for rock and roll events and other events. I hope you enjoy looking at his work and learning about my friend and very talented screen print artist, Jay Ryan. I'm going to send it over to my computer so we can examine his work. Stay tuned. This week we are going to examine the Skokie, Illinois-based artist Jay Ryan. He works out of his own print studio called the Bird Machine. Skokie, Illinois is a northern suburb of Chicago, just kind of right on the edge of Chicago. So I hope you enjoy looking at his artwork. Some of it you might be familiar with already. So there is Jay Ryan on the far right, presenting at SIU Carbondale for one of my Southern Illinois art education conferences. I actually got to have dinner with him at Quattros, which was quite the interesting treat. And he is very well known for his screen prints that oftentimes very much have somewhat of a humorous or narrative element. So on the far left, you see the bearded cat getting her beard rocked, or their beard rocked by the radio, and the dog barking at the mirror. Then you see the campfire with the sloth and the elephant and the squirrel roasting their marshmallows, having a cup of coffee. Kind of interesting small narratives they have going. And these are silk screens, so if there will be videos on my website brought to you by Jay Ryan where he talks about the silkscreen process. There'll be two different ones, and he's a pretty funny guy, so I think you'll enjoy him. Make sure to check those out as well. They're both pretty short. Here are my own Jay Ryan collection. The one on the far bottom left, I think you guys will recognize as it is proudly displayed in Studio 37. He did a series about his garage, and this was about the time they had a great big party at his garage. The one on the top, kind of in the middle, is called the Axe Sharpener. That one, I is hanging up in my house, and I like that one because both me and Jay Ryan love cutting firewood. So, hats off to him for having a very similar hobby and taste in art. Of course, bear cutting firewood, kind of funny. And the one on the far right is called Big Stunt. That one I think is rather funny too, and as you can tell from the title and the image, it makes a little narrative. But one thing Jay Ryan is probably most well known for, and in fact, I learned how famous he was when I watched a documentary about the gig poster, the resurgence of the gig poster, and it was based primarily on the work of Jay Ryan. And if it's still on Netflix, hopefully you can see it. It's a pretty good little documentary. So you got a poster for a Jeff Tweedy concert on the far left, Jack White, one of my favorite musicians, in the center, and Blonde Redhead on the right. And again, all these are hand-drawn, which is kind of rare now that everything's gone to computers, and he does all the lettering too, which is pretty phenomenal. Jeff Tweedy's a Chicago artist. He was in a band for a while that you might be aware of, or at least your parents might be aware of, called Wilco. Jack White was a founding member of the White Stripes, and Blonde Redhead, I don't know much about it. I thought it was a cool poster. Okay, here is a poster for Andrew Bird, Mavis Staples event. Mavis Staples is one of my favorite musicians. She is based out of Chicago. Andrew Bird is definitely one of Jay Ryan's favorite musicians because he made more posters for Andrew Bird than anyone else put together. In the center, you see one for Guided by Voices, and then a kind of a pop rock band called the Decemberists there on the right. Finally, we got a band called Shellac, and this is their Australian tour, and I thought it was kind of humorous how he included wombats, koalas, and platypus to celebrate Shellac's Australian tour. Kind of a humorous shout out to Australia and the band. Of course, the astronaut dog, I'm pretty sure that's just Jay Ryan having fun. And the print on the far right is one of his most recent works called We All Stayed Home, which I think is about right now. And at that, it's really well done. Pretty simple color palette, fun creatures. Kind of has that narrative element that we talked about with the other two artists we looked at this quarter. I hope you enjoyed seeing Jay Ryan's artwork. I know that many of you have noticed the garage screen print in my class before, and I'm going to go ahead and shoot Jay an email and see if there's anything that he wants me to tell you about him. Thank you guys for your time and attention. Have fun making your picture. Hello, my fine young artist friends, and welcome back to Studio 37. I hope you were able to stay warm through the Arctic blast. As we wrap up with our last week in art for this quarter, we are going to continue to examine contemporary narrative artists. This week we're going to look at an artist that is contemporary. He's an Illinois artist. He's actually a personal friend of mine. We're going to talk about the art of Jay Ryan. Jay Ryan is actually world famous for his posters depicting woodland characters like bears and rabbits and squirrels, as well as his gig posters for rock and roll events and other events. I hope you enjoy looking at his work and learning about my friend and very talented screen print artist, Jay Ryan. I'm going to send it over to my computer so we can examine his work. Stay tuned.